Pretty cool art, huh? Cool? This is profound. I cannot even explain the creativity, the technique, the emotions just purely exuding from this piece. Yeah man, it's a pretty cool banana. You could just feel the shame, the agony the banana is going through. This is symbolism for modern helplessness. Yeah, you picked a good one. Chiquita way. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Scott K. Yeah, I'm not really much of an artist. This is pretty much the extent of my artistic abilities. Plus, I have no idea what's going on when it comes to like art. Like this, or this. I guess I'm just a barbarian that pounds on keyboards all day. So when Angry Miao launched their latest keyboard, the Relic 80, I was like, what the heck is that? Because apparently it was inspired by modern art from an American artist, Daniel Arsham, and his like Brillo box thing. I thought, it's pretty cool. Not because I appreciate modern art that much, which I really don't, or the Daniel dude, who I don't even know, but because it was different. After seeing like hundreds of common looking keyboards all day, you tend to kind of gravitate towards things that are a little bit weird. They stand out more. But that's not the only reason why I was drawn to this Relic 80, right? This Relic 80 was Angry Miao's attempt at making a keyboard with typing sound as one of its core strengths. So this is the best sounding keyboard yet from Angry Miao. So if you recall, Angry Miao makes over-the-top, unique, luxury-priced keyboards, luxury price for sure, that are always a little bit crazy. But on top of the crazy ideas, Angry Miao boards do come with like top-notch hardware design, engineering, fit and finish, and sheer like flex on your nerd buddies, right? While the tech is really cool, and there are quite a bit of innovations built in, typing sound wasn't quite their strength. Case in point is a cyberboard. A lot of times it's because of the fact that the keyboard was designed like to be a housing for the technology, like the housing for the parts. Acoustics weren't really thought of that much, it seems like, with some of those boards. How can you when you make crazy designs like this, right? So that's where the Relic 80 is a bit different, because it's like the most regular looking keyboard that Angry Miao has done so far. It like actually looks like a regular TKL keyboard for a change. I mean, but it's still an Angry Miao board, so it does have its unique flair. Especially like these detail elements, right? They are there to like represent erosion. Like the keyboard is eroding away over time and it's exposing some kind of crystal structure beneath it, like a piece of relic. Now the name starts to make some sense. It's actually a pretty nice detail. It does get much better when you actually power it on. In order to match everything up the look and feel, they also use their proprietary Glacier keycaps to kind of like tie everything together. Overall, just the right amount of crazy for an Angry Miao board. The Relic 80 also features the Angry Miao 3-stage leaf spring mounting system. Overall, a very soft typing experience you could actually adjust. Plus, if you watch my videos on the spring mounting designs from the past, this kind of mounting really helps to isolate the typing force, and you get much less case reverb and pinging, which is a plus for a sound-focused keyboard like this. Hearing it for the second time, you probably noticed. It sounds good. It sounds big, but it also sounds so marbly. I mean, if you like that, good. If not, how do you make this stop? That's where I come in. I can already tell it's like packed with stuff to force that kind of sound out of this keyboard. But I also have a feeling that it doesn't need all that to sound good. So I decided to take this thing apart to see like what's going on inside. The Relic 80 uses AM's proprietary IC Silver Pro linear switches, mouthful, which actually feel very smooth and sound pretty deep for a switch like this. Although the spring weight is a little bit too light for me, like think like Gateron white light, like 45 gram light. The case has a hidden screw design, which means that the screws are around the inside perimeter for that clean outside look. So from the outside, there are no visible screws. Then you take everything apart, you can start to see some of the details. The upper case has a nice heft, right? from what I heard, it takes like 4 hours to just make the upper case. It does resonate nicely without the pinging. Remember the light up accents? You could actually see the big diffuser blocks in more detail now. And yes, this crystal look is achieved through this like bottom of the diffuser piece being molded this way. Now, getting to the more interesting parts. The plate is a flex cut FR4 design, which FR4 is pretty standard these days, right? But what was really weird was that this FR4 plate was more flexible versus some of the other ones I've experienced. Perhaps like a different kind of FR4 manufacturing or materials being used for this, but you can also see how Angry Miao leaf spring mounts work right here. It came pre-installed with the stainless steel leaves, but you also have the option of swapping them out to the other ones. They're actually copper. Copper ones are softer and the stainless steel is a little bit stiffer. You can adjust the overall stiffness by moving this little rubber bumper around, which Angry Miao calls gears. And if you want to learn more about that, check out my video on the AM AFA from the past. Now, I'm starting to see the variables that shape the Relic to sound the way it does. First, you'll notice the thin piece of case foam included. Honestly, which it's very standard these days, and something this thin doesn't really do that much to sound. However, I start to see some more interesting aspects of this keyboard, like this under PCB pour-on foam, which is also pretty standard, right? But for the Relic, it's actually stuck onto the PCB itself, like it's glued or taped on. So what this foam is doing is essentially double duty. It helps to absorb some of that PCB vibration, but at the same time, it's kind of like a built-in tape mod, which also emphasizes like the thockiness or like that deeper mid sound profile from the PCB. Above the PCB now, you also have what it looks like PE foam, but wait. Under the PE foam, you have this layer of clear plastic. Yes, it's the latest craze. The PET sheet. What is PET or PET, you ask? It's polyethylene terephthalate. In layman's terms, it's your water bottle plastic. Yeah, when you buy that bottle of Evian, it comes in PET bottles, PET bottles. Now it's in keyboards. PET does an interesting thing. It works in conjunction with the PE foam and makes the board sound more PE foamy. It makes it even more marbly, like super marble, if that wasn't even possible. Finally, the lower case reveals a chamber within like a chamber design, which can also help to shape the sound by adjusting the interior volume and reducing the weight, which also helps to create a more vibrant sounding board, right? Too much material, hard to vibrate. After seeing all this, I thought, so the bones of the keyboard is pretty good for making sound. However, I don't really want all the artificial modifiers that like the PT and the P foam is adding. So I decided to remove that. I left the plate foam and the case foams intact because I felt those don't contribute that much more to that marble effect. So then I put everything back together again and took it for a test drive. As I thought, the keyboard doesn't rely on the PET and the PE foams to sound good. Those two modifiers do exactly that. It modifies the sound. If you like what it does, then you keep it in. If you don't like it, do what I did and just take it out. I'm sure I could remove everything in there, like all the foams, and it'll still sound pretty good, I'm sure. Since like the spring mount design itself like takes care of the case ping, the case foams aren't that critical in this situation. In addition, Angry Miao used these little plastic risers to help create spacing below the PCB. Space for flex mostly, but this also helps to create a lower sound chamber, right? It increases the volume down there as a side effect. So what is the Relic 80? Well, it's different things to different people. Some of you might think this looks like modern art. Some of you might not care too much about that at all, like me. The sound of the Relic 80 may be what draws you in. Or the combination of the different traits is maybe what draws you in. The Angry Miao innovations like the adjustable leaf mount, the mixture of different materials, the wireless charging, probably the best RGB class in my opinion. Top-notch fit, feel, and finish. Plus, this being the first AM keyboard that actually sounds like a luxury keyboard. For me, Most of the Angry Miao keyboards have been more display usage than everyday use, right? They look very nice, they are impressive, but I didn't really use them every day. Keyboard flex, if you will. But I think the Relic 80 is probably the first Angry Miao board that will go into regular rotation for me. But keep in mind that Angry Miao boards don't come cheap at all. Not at all. You're looking at around $490 for the base model with no switches or keycaps, or around $650 for the completed bundle. You heard that right. So, the choice is yours.